Welcome to a new update, and this weekend update we're going to focus a little bit on the larger scope of the altcoins. We have been covering those altcoins in the previous weeks. I've been stating that we are actually seeing that altcoins are heavily down already, assuming that we are technically in a bear market since a year for the altcoins, and therefore it might feel strange, but you're actually looking at tremendous opportunities across markets. I'm not saying that we've hit the actual rock bottom, but I'm saying that we have been retesting some crucial levels, and outside of those bounces we already got some beautiful gains. But also, if you want to invest in some projects, I would stick to the bigger ones. But if you want to invest into some projects, it is granting you great opportunities. Yes. So that's what we're going to discuss today. But make sure to subscribe beneath, like this YouTube video, and check me out on Twitter and Instagram, where you can find daily content on the markets. When we're looking at the current structure of the markets, we can see that we've been collapsing. This is literally what we call capitulation when it comes to the price action of everything in crypto. We've witnessed the biggest collapse of a crypto ever, and because of that, we've seen cryptos crashing even more, as it resulted into a systemic risk of the entire system, and therefore the prices have been dropping swiftly. Then next, we also got the macroeconomics, which have not been doing great, although we've seen a slight bounce on the indices yesterday, resulting into some upwards momentum. Now, when we're looking at altcoins, these are a leveraged position on Bitcoin. I've been saying that on and on. If you are into altcoins, be sure that this is a leveraged position on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin moves one way, altcoins will follow. In that case, I think that we're going to have a relative boring period on altcoins. We can still see some bounces around here and there, but I think that the overall focus will be on Bitcoin. Therefore, there's no need to actually use leverage. There's just a way to trade altcoins both ways, long and short. Volatility will remain high as well. But now, if you're looking at the positions of those and the expectations for altcoins in general, the valuations are very low. Meaning that everything is coming back to where it came from, while fundamentally we're still continuing to build. So right now we're getting an accumulation period where it's actually the best to do is to just build your positions. Why? If you're looking at the chart in a way that you're looking at it without any position, you're basing yourself and you would be saying, hey, this is something that I will be buying. If you see such a heavy capitulation, it is time to look for long entries instead of short entries. Of course, bottoming is not going to be happening in one go. That is definitely true. That is definitely what I'm looking at right now with the markets itself. It's going to take time. We're going to see flip-flops from bull to bear. But for traders, it is great, as it's granting you massive volatility on the altcoins in itself. And for investors, it's actually one of the best kind of periods to start building your position. Let's look at some altcoins and see where they are standing right now. So when we're looking at the bigger picture with altcoins at this point, we can see that we've been hitting some beautiful levels here to retest, right? For instance, Ether, we have been making this heavy correction, has been taking the low. Then we've had a slight run up, rejecting in this range, taking these highs. And now we have been swiftly taking these lows too, resulting into a test of this entire block that we have here. Which has been untested technically speaking since the entire run, right? So we've got a beautiful level to test here. We could still be going down towards the previous high, in which we're taking these lows here, and then I'm assuming we're going to get into this range here to get that final bounce happening, maybe slightly higher, around 1.2, if we're gonna lose the momentum once again. Now, when we're looking at the higher picture for Ethereum at this point, we can see that we've got this retest here, and we've just witnessed a heavy crash. If you look at the picture, we've also been witnessing a heavy crash here, and it almost always went back up towards the block where it came from. In that way, I would not be surprised if in the next few weeks we're gonna get a run towards 2.8k before we're going to drop back down to either create a higher low or to drop even further down to continue the downtrend. So based on that perspective, we can also say, hey, okay, we're expecting us to bounce 45%. If you're looking at Cardano, we can arguably say the exact same. We've been looking at the support level around 68 cents, which we could not be holding. And then we got towards the next level, which is based around 38 cents. We bounced there, but we can see we are still making downwards trends, right? So in that case, we've got this breaker here to watch. But given that I'm assuming that Cardano will be stronger than Ethereum at this point, I'm expecting us to run all the way towards the level that we have here, which is around $1.05. And then we start dropping, questioning whether we can make a new higher low. If we look at the structure of all those crashes overall, we can definitely see different structures. First of all, if we have a slight crash in this case, it can continue grinding and take a few months before we can start breaking new highs. That might be a scenario. In this case, we have been crashing down, taking those tests, bearish rejections all the way, and slow down the actual crashing before we started to make a new U-turn. In that case, we are getting into a scenario where we're going to get such a pause in which we're just going to continue testing the lows before we can continue moving. In that perspective, we are down 87% on Cardano, which means that we're getting quite close towards an actual bottoming structure. The same can be said about Chainlink. Heavy correction, lost its support here, in which we still were making lower highs, lower lows. I've been marking this level here, and I've also been marking the level lower for potential entries, which is around $5. If we get some momentum, I would not be surprised if we get all the way towards $13 or $12 in this range before we start making correction once again. Then the question becomes whether we test the low or whether we create a new higher low based on the higher time frames before we can start breaking and start making a new uptrend going into 2023. At this point, if you look at the structure in the markets in itself, the best opportunities are in this period, and that's why I'm going to be building, that's why I'm going to be improving my YouTube channel, that's why you should be focused on the markets instead of being focused during a bull run. Short update today, but I hope you have enjoyed it. I'll be back on Monday. Have a great day, and I'll see you again. Make sure to subscribe. Also, don't do stupid shit, and have a wonderful weekend. Ciao.